Okay, the hour being 9 a.m., we'll begin the meeting. This is the Kane County Transportation Committee for Tuesday, December 21st, 2021. I'm Drew Fraz, the Transportation Chair. I would like to have a roll call.
Iqbal?
Present.
Berman? Berman? Kenyon?
Here.
Caius?
Caius present.
Opie? Wojnicki? Martin?
Martin present.
Heerog? Shepro?
Shepro present.
Oh.
I was here.
You have a quorum. Okay,
we have a quorum. And Mr. Burman just came online, I believe. Could I have a motion and a second to approve our minutes from November 16th, 2021? Moved by Mr. Caius, second by Mr. Kenyon. Discussion, changes, comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Berman? I think he's speaking.
Yeah. Dale, we can't hear you, so you'd have to unmute.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay,
I'll look like a
take
thumbs
the
up.
wave as a yes.
Iqbal?
Yes.
Kenyon?
Yes.
Caius?
Caius, yes.
Opie? Wojnicki? Yes. Martin?
Martin, yes.
Shepro?
Mute.
Raz, yes.
Thank you.
Item 3, public comment. I think we have only one speaker, if I'm not mistaken. Mayor Tyrell from Campton Hills. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Mr. Chair, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. For those on the Transportation Committee, I had just circulated to you a copy of some comments and information I'd like to share with you as you go through. This is specific to item number 6. I don't know that I would have an opportunity when you got to that agenda item, but I'll need to depart anyway, probably by the time you get there. First and foremost, I want to thank Jackie Forbes, the presentation that she and her department put on. Hello. Sometimes the masks disguise us. Thank you so much. I appreciate the dialogue, the presentation that you had made several weeks back. Had an opportunity to thoroughly go through it, and I know we have some ongoing conversations yet to come. What I'd like to share with you in the packet that I have is some information, and much of what KDOT has provided in that packet on item 6 and the resolution. And I understand resolutions are not binding, but over time they have a tendency to lose some of their subtleties, if you will. It relies on a map that is arguably about 10 years old. And what I've provided to you, and you'll see a copy of that map reproduced and exploded on page 3. And if you'll forgive me one moment.
That's okay. Thank you.
I've exploded that map to identify the text that is on page 1 and continues on into page 2. The legend at the bottom of the full-size map talks about urban areas, talks about open space, etc. And we've gone through and highlighted information which may not be readily evident as you go through and make your choices going forward on road improvements. I've taken that information and using generally accepted numbers, identified each and every one of those on page 1 by its identity: Garfield Farm, Mungerson, Campton Forest Preserve, with the exception of Campton Forest Preserve, I think, which has been long-standing. All of those other entities were not identified in a dated map. as being permanently out of future development. Taking those Garfield Farm, 323 acres, and as noted, we would assume well and septic in our area. Notably, that would mean 1 unit per acre. Where those properties fall into the Elgin FPA, those are also noted. And using the ponds of Stony Creek as an example, which is 4 units per acre, we would identify the number of housing units. It is generally assumed, depending on whose numbers you use, if you use IPA, it's 3.5 residents per household. We notched that down to, I think, a more palatable 3.0 residents per unit. And in the brackets bolded would be the estimated number of residents in those areas which are not available for residential development. Okay. So these are all along the LaFox, Corin corridor. The village of Campton Hills would represent, that corridor represents a very, very significant portion of Campton Hills. We take up a huge chunk of that corridor. And if you get down to the end, the potential residents removed are 13,616. Again, these are all best estimates based on the background that I've provided you of 3.0. One that I think is of particular significance and will highlight this, if you look at page 3 of the map, you'll see Meisner-Corin. That was going to be Elgin. That was part of the big push Elgin had many years ago in their big extension west. Those of you on the board also serve on the Kane County Forest Preserve, and thank you very, very much for the foresight in whatever negotiation took place that took that residential development of 377 acres times 4 out of the development. It's a tribute to the efforts of the Forest Preserve and the members of that board. 13,616 residences will not be available in that corridor. If you turn around and use generally accepted, and I think Representative Winicki, if we have it correctly, the generally accepted standards are there are 10 traffic trips per day per unit. That's 130,000, if I've got that number correct, that's 130,000 trips that will not take place. 10 years from now, 15, 20 years from now, between the Forest Preserve and Campton Township Open Space Program, those residents, those traffic trips will not happen. The information here, I'm sure you'll read through it. I've also included a link and a little snippet from the Village of Campton Hills and who we are. And for those who watch the multi-studies that come through various organizations or departments here in Kane County, you're very aware that Campton Township has the highest number of wells, arguably in the state of Illinois, per square mile. We also have a philosophical foundation of who we are and our desire to maintain a semi-rural environment. We are not on by any stretch of the imagination, an aggressive development plan. We value our farmland. Our farmers who are within the village value their position. That's not to say that some of that development won't happen at some point in time, but we absolutely value that, and we are very much committed to preserving it. KDOT, like any municipal unit of government, Kane County, we have limited funds. We struggle on where to apply our funds. I'm here to speak and tell you to consider maybe moving that corridor for the reasons I've identified in this outline. Move the priorities on looking at that LaFox Corin much further down the path. I know it may be 5 years, it may be 10 years, but I think we're all cognizant 5 and 10 years fly by very quickly. And when you're looking to allocate your dollars on road improvements, I think it would be wise in many respects There is so much more of Kane County in need. Given our mission statement, the facts that I've given you here, I've pulled our own chief of police for accident data up on Corin Road, 1 per year on average at any intersection. Rush hour traffic, I can sit there and I'm going to tell you that 2 or 3 cars stacked up don't merit turning lanes and traffic lights. That's today. But in light of what we've got here on future development and the amount of property and units of land that will never, ever be developed, I would ask you to give serious consideration to lowering those priorities on Corin LaFox.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there any other public comment? Is there anyone present or online that would like to speak to the committee? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to our finance section. Tom?
Bear with me for 1 second. I'm trying to advance.
Use the mouse and just click on the screen somewhere.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
Thank you. You have the finance reports in front of you. At least at this point in time, I don't have anything to add except for that staff is starting to work on the Transportation Improvement Program, which is our 5-year financial plan. And so our planning department, as well as our finance department at the Division of Transportation, will be starting to work on that. Ms. Hopkinson is here if there's any questions in regards to finance.
Okay, any questions on the finance report? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to maintenance report.
You also have your maintenance report. It's also on the screen. The maintenance section continues with their winter operations, the snow fence installation, tree trimming, and roadway patching. As of December 9th, we still haven't had any snow events, and we have not had any events since then as well. We've only been out 1 time and used about 250 tons of salt, and so we have a significant portion of our salt still available for the winter season. That's all I have at this point in time.
Okay, any questions on the maintenance report? If not, we'll move on to 5B.
Just a quick question, Shepro.
Mr. Shepro, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I read in the paper that as of today, this is the latest date for a first snowfall that we haven't had yet in recorded history.
Heads are nodding, so I think there's agreement with that.
Yeah,
Although I think we've had some recent winters where we had the same scenario, and by the end of the winter, we had used up our annual allotment. So you never know what's going to happen.
that's right. You never know till it's, as
Yeah.
Yogi Berra said, it's not over till it's over. Thank
Okay,
you.
No problem. Item 5B, our first resolution, this is approving I think we have 6 adopt a highway applicants. Could I have a motion and a second to approve? Ms. Wonicky, Mr. Caius seconds. Tom?
Yeah, we have 6 applicants. We have St. Pat's Scout Troop 10 on Silver Glen Road. We have the Kane County Democrats on Kirk Road, Grace Lutheran Troop 46 Empire Road, Lucky Maple 4-H Group on McGuff Road, Women of the Moose in Elgin on McLean, and the Roberts family on Harmony Road. And staff is recommending approval.
I think maybe we need to get the King County Republicans to adopt the highway.
I was about to say, would you please send an application to the Kane County Republicans?
Well, I think that'll be 1.6 miles.
Yes.
Okay, so questions, comments on the adopt the highway applicants? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Go Democrats, yes.
Kobe, Wojnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Shepro.
Shepro doesn't vote.
Thank you. Braz,
Raz, yes. Motion passes. Item 6, planning and programming report. We're going to turn it over to Jackie Forbes for 4 resolutions.
In your packet is the report for this month. I just have 2 items that I wanted to review with you. They both involve a vote later in our agenda today. Our comprehensive road improvement plan update, our impact fee update. We did meet with our impact fee advisory committee a final time on December 7th. We reviewed everything that came in at our public hearing on the 16th and any email comments that we received. After that, we were accepting comments through the 22nd officially, but we took anyone's comments that they had on the program. The committee did vote unanimously to adopt the CRIP, and it is on your agenda today. I did want to take a moment and mention all the members of the Impact Fee Advisory Committee. They gave valuable input in the process this year. We did make some changes to the program based on input we received from them and from the public. So I just wanted to name each of those folks who were part of that today. Starting with our county board members who represented us. Our committee chair was Drew Frost, so thank you. We also had Dale Burman and Bill Leonard, who represented us on the committee. We had Annette Kalovic from the Realtor Association of the Fox Valley, Daniel Olsom from the Crown Community Development, Ken Franzese from Lee and Associates of Illinois, Court Earhart from Earhart Construction, John Hall Jr., John Hall Custom Homes, Greg Ellsbury from Teamsters Local 179, Fox Valley Building and Construction Trades Council, Mayor Shelkey from the City of Batavia, President Pickett from the Village of Sleepy Hollow, President Ward from the Village of South Elgin, Steve Super from the Village of South Elgin, Mayor Irvin from the City of Aurora, and Alex Alexander from the City of Aurora. They truly represented each of the sectors. The statute does require that we reach out to these various sectors to be on the committee, and you heard who we were talking to, people who are involved with that impact fee program and are affected by it every day. So just want to give thanks to them. You also have information on the report about the Ride and Cane transition, how it continues to move forward. There are a couple of agreements for you today that help continue this process for the transition of the program to us. And finally, I wanted to make a note on the impact fee program report that you have. It is through November 30th. However, there may be a few changes yet just based on end of year. So don't look at that yet as the final 2021 report. We do have some changes that might come in the next couple of months. So I think that concludes my report. Thank you.
Any questions for Jackie? If not, I think we will go ahead and take items B and C, 6B and 6C together. They're both agreements with the RTA as far as funding the Ride and Cane program. So could I have a motion to approve items 6B and 6C?
Martin moves.
Martin moves. Paul seconds. Jackie?
Actually, I think Jennifer's.
I'm sorry,
gonna handle these
Jennifer.
two. That's okay.
Jennifer will fill us in.
No problem. Good morning. As we discussed last month when we started rolling out the documents necessary to do the Ride and Cane rollout and in transition, we mentioned that we would be bringing you a series of documents. So what you have in front of you today are 2 documents that allow funds to flow to the operation of the program. The first is for the Section 5310 funds, and that provides $2.45 million in operating funds for rides for people 65 and over and individuals with disabilities. The second document is for Job Access Reverse Commute or JARC funds, and those funds provide for the prior groups that I mentioned and also allows qualifying low-income people to access the trips for work-related activities. So that amount is $824,000 in change. So I wanted to note that these 2 fund sources are in addition to the original grant award that the Ride and Cane program seeked out through the call for project in 2021, and that was $2.66 million. So we have funds coming in to operate the program starting immediately upon approval of these documents. Thank you.
Any questions for Jennifer? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes. Berman,
Iqbal,
yes.
thank you. Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Pius,
Pius, yes.
Gopi, Wojnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Rose.
Raz, yes.
Passes.
B and C pass, and I think we'll go ahead also and take 6D and 6E together. They're both, one's a resolution and one's an ordinance related to all the work that Jackie just described related to the impact fee committee's work. I need a motion and a second for the.
Martin moves.
Martin moves, Wanicki seconds. Jackie, you want to just take us through those two?
Sure. The way the statute's written, we should take these two separate, we can approve them together, but we
Okay.
had to present them to you
So
separately.
we'll take them separately. Do the motioner and seconder mine. We'll just go back to 6D separately.
Martin moves.
Martin and Wanicki also.
Yes.
So 6D, go ahead,
Thank
resolution.
you. Yeah, so this is the comprehensive road improvement plan associated with the road improvement impact fee ordinance. So the plan includes all of the projects that we've identified as having potential deficiencies in the future. And it also includes, I believe the impact fee schedule is part of the CRIP. If not, it's part of the ordinance. I apologize. But those documents were included in the agenda packet. This is the culmination of a little over a year of working with our impact fee advisory committee, and then as staff a little bit longer than that with our consulting firm. So following all the requirements of the statute to do this update. So this is the first part of the two parts that we have today for your approval.
Okay. Comments? Ms. Wanicki?
I just have a few comments to read into the record. So I'm going to focus on page 260, table 4-2, scope of proposed improvements. Number 7, Burlington Road at Old LaFox, portion north of Route 64, installation of a traffic signal. And I do understand with talking with our chairman that this is maybe a few years, it could even be 10, 20 years down the road, but this is still very important, no matter how many years go by. Installation of a traffic signal at this intersection is an invitation for a cut-through traffic. The cut-through traffic avoiding Randall Road when traveling north. Families in our communities, they walk south on Old LaFox Road. They ride their bikes to access the Great Western Trail, along with the various retail that we have in Wasco, a McDonald's, a coffee shop, and ice cream, pizza, whatever it may be. There are no sidewalks for walking safely to the trail or to downtown. Also, Brown Road, which meets Old LaFox Road to the east, is home to the Anderson Farm and many residential homes existing on Brown Road, very residential. Again, an invitation for a cut through, and again, families walking on the shoulders of Brown Road to access the Great Western Trail.
Yes, this is Dale.
Again, no sidewalks available. There was a major road improvement at LaFox Road and Burlington Road some years ago when Fox Mill was proposed and is now existing. I would suggest directing traffic that wants to access Burlington Road or travel north to this, I would direct them to this intersection with the safety traffic signals, not through residential areas. Another option would be to put flashing lights possibly instead of a traffic signal at the corner of Old LaFox and Burlington Road to signal them that there's a stop sign ahead. I'm speaking for the Campton community, and the Campton community strongly urges you not to urbanize the Campton area. Thank you. That's it.
I guess just to follow up on that, long-term planning is just what it says. It's long-term planning, and these intersections have been identified for very long-term possible signalization in the 10 to 20-year range. But even with that, the installation of a light, it doesn't drive the installation of the light. The plan doesn't drive it. What would drive that is the warrants and traffic counts. So regardless of what the plan says, they would not go forward unless the intersections met those warrants. Mr. Rickard?
Yeah, just to add a couple things. I think that we concur with the sentiments that have been said this morning, both from the village president and yourself. these intersections were originally put in 2004 and adopted by the county board in 2004. It hasn't been staff's desire or nor has the data supported an immediate transition. It was part of the modeling exercise that occurred at that point in time. Some of the data, even the employment and the population data, was a little bit higher in some of the iterations in the past. So I don't see anything happening in the near term, especially at that intersection. We've even worked with the area to realign Old LaFox Road into Brown Road, where it's now a T intersection instead of a straight through shot. And so our desire is very similar. I think we've tried to do traffic calming on that road in the past. And so we'll continue to look at this and let you know as data changes and if there is any thoughts or concerns. For now, if you look at the map, it's not up there anymore, but oops.
What page are you on?
Oh, I need to reshare. Okay, hold on. All right, if you look at the map of the projects, the primary focus is on Randall Orchard Road corridor. There are some intersections that are projected to meet warrants someday. When those meet warrants, there will be discussions. Even when they meet warrants, it doesn't necessarily mean that the revenues are there to even do the improvements. At this point in time, if you look at our 5-year tip, there's about $190 million shortfall. So prioritization, there's a lot of projects that would be ahead of it. So just wanted to give some reassurance there.
Okay.
Thank you, Tom.
Well, the minutes will reflect Mayor Terrell and Representative Wanicki's concerns about the 3 intersections. Any other comments or questions? If not, we'll do a roll call. This is for item 6D, adopting our comprehensive road improvement plan.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Wojnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Frost.
Raj, yes.
Passes.
Resolution passes. Item 6E is an ordinance. This is approving the Kane County Road Improvement Fee Ordinance. So I need a motion and a second. Moved by Martin, second by Dr. Iqbal. Jackie?
Okay, I did take a look and the fee schedule is actually part of this ordinance. And to remind everyone, we have our gross impact fees in there, but we are doing a 50% multiplier. This is what we've been using in the years past, and we continue to propose using that for the life of this ordinance. The ordinance also includes some of the new changes that we have made to the program, including a discount for skilled manufacturing job creation and something called a simplified individual assessment. In the fee schedule, there are certain land uses that are listed there. However, there are almost 200 different land use categories in the what we call the ITE manual that we use to derive these impact fees. And they will, any developer will be able to do a simplified individual assessment and take a look at any of the land use codes to see if it will be a lesser fee if they do that. So 2 major changes we made to the ordinance.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Caius?
Yeah, Chris Caius, District 23. I'd like to comment or commend the staff. I know this is a big job, and I'm encouraged and have encouraged in the past the changes that invites a more equitable fee that includes improving employment. That's encouraging, that sort of thing. I think that's generally a really good thing. I'm excited to see that. I know it was a big project. You guys and the staff and the board members, Mr. Frost put a lot of time in on it. And I think the only thing I'm disappointed in, I think, is that it sounds like there's going to be less impact fees, like there's going to be a reduction in the impact fees paid. And I see that as well, we're struggling as a county board to make sure that things get accomplished in Kane County, and we're not being able to get enough money together to do a number of things that that as the growth of the county occurs, and it's, right now, there's a lot of things going in, a lot of things happening. It doesn't seem like the impact fee is having a big effect. And it's actually pretty nominal. I think it's like, what, 1.6 million a year or something like that. I would encourage that we, along with, and I, sorry, I lost our president here. I think he has also stated for Campton, he also encouraged the impact fees. And I would like to see the impact fees reflect a more honest, or an honest, what I consider to be an honest reflection of what these companies are paying to come into our county, use our roads, and not have the people that are already here, our residents, pay for them. So.
Yeah, no, I
That's-
appreciate
that's
those
fine.
comments, and, you know,
So,
the
A lot of
reduction-
good, some, could be better.
Reduction had its origins in the Great Recession, I think, more than anything. And then now with COVID, so maybe when we know COVID is substantially behind us, I don't know if it'll ever be fully behind us, but when it's substantially behind us, that might be the time to look at what the economy and development's doing at that point. And
Or have we seen a downturn in development here? And it's growing, right?
It's going pretty strong, actually.
Yeah, it's going really strong. So I think COVID is a red herring.
this committee can bring it up at any time. So I guess for today, it will remain the same, but there's nothing to say that we couldn't look at this
Right.
in the spring.
And there was plenty of, and I get it, there's plenty input from the public. We had openings to do that. And I sent out emails to encourage people that had spoken to me in the past up in my area about the equitability of having the new companies that are going to be using our roads and cause wear and tear, pay for them as new companies, and they're making money on it. So I get it.
Carl,
Thank
did
you.
have something?
I was just going to say that, the statute does require the county to update this program at least every 5 years. And if we see trends that are escalating, we can come back and do it in 3 years or 2 years, whatever makes sense. So,
Right.
yes, as Drew said, the committee can bring it up at any time.
And I'd also like to echo your comments on thanking Jackie, especially for taking the lead on this. And I know she also had a full plate with other things with Jennifer Becker, our KDOT leadership and staff behind the scenes. The committee, we had representatives from the real estate development, labor, municipal leaders. It was really an interesting process, and comments were acted on and put into the process, which was pretty good. And I especially was happy with the public comment portion. We actually had participation from the public. So everybody spoke up and was involved, and their comments were taken to heart and acted on. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you in 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Raise those prices.
Yeah, the committee will probably bring this up well before too, I think.
I'm sure.
Ms. Wonicky?
Yeah, I'd just like to echo what Mr. Caios and what you just said. Thank you, staff. It is a big undertaking to handle all of that. And I want to compliment Mr. Caios. I absolutely agree with what you said. I'm watching the amount of development, especially up to the northwest area of the county, and it's pretty much exploding. So I think we need to keep a close eye on that.
Okay, yeah, I'd encourage any of the board members, especially the transportation committee members, when you want it on the agenda, let me know and we'll take it up and review it.
Okay, thanks.
Other comments or questions? If not, I'll take a roll call on item 6E, approving the Kane County Road Improvement Fee Ordinance.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Wojnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Cross,
Raz, yes.
passes.
Ordinance passes. Item 7A, the permitting report. Back to Tom.
Yeah, you have the permitting report. I'd be glad to take any questions. There's a number, what we do on the permit report is we list the major accesses. So if you ever have any questions about those, feel free to contact me and we can give you a more detailed update on what's occurring.
Okay, if you have any questions, talk to Tom on that, and then we'll do the traffic operations report from Tom.
Traffic operations, again, your report's there. With the restructuring of our traffic section that occurred a few months ago. Part of that restructuring is that our department also started a traffic operations safety group. We get a number of requests from the public as well as from county board members. I think I either got 3 or 4 requests in the last week from county board members, and from the public, we get probably about a dozen different requests on a regular basis, weekly or every 2 weeks, saying there's safety concerns out there that you want to address. And so we've developed a traffic operations safety group, which includes a number of our engineers as well as maintenance staff and others to just take a quick look at it and determine assignments as far as how to approach the concerns or whether there's warrants at the time. And so this is something that I just wanted you to be aware of, that with the restructuring, we're really attempting to do our best to adequately, appropriately deal with the concerns that come forward. So that's all I have for traffic operations.
Any questions on the traffic operations report?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Dr. Iqbal?
Yeah, I just like to know, you had a public hearing on the intersection of Route 20 and Randall for the project that's going on. Did you had any significant input from the public on that?
You know, I don't mean to put Jennifer on the spot, but Jennifer O'Connell, could you?
Yeah, we, thanks to Jennifer Becker, we posted on our Facebook page the survey that we asked the public to fill out for us. I think I heard that at the last count, the survey closed on December 10th. I haven't received the summary, but we did have over 80 responses. So only 15-ish people attended our public hearing, but we did get over 80 responses via the internet on our online survey.
Any response that stand out? And
there's a subdivision at the northwest corner of the interchange. They access their subdivision via a street called Windhaven, just north of Foothill. And they're looking for better and more accessible access to their neighborhood. That's a large comment that we get. Pedestrian access through the interchange appeared a number of times. Also concern about intersections as you travel south of the interchange, the intersection at South Street and at South Street primarily there in Elgin, which is not really part of this study, but the impact of this study will impact that intersection as well. So it is something that we'll have to include as we move forward.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, Dr. Iqbal. Any other questions or comments on the traffic operations report? Okay, seeing none, we'll move over to Steve for project implementation section. Steve?
Yes. This time of year, we typically give out our Consultant of the Year award. This year's Consultant of the Year is V3 Companies for their work on the Kirk Road at Dunham Road intersection realignment project. V3's resident engineer, Sean Ludwig, who I believe is present here today, we feel went above and beyond what's commonly expected in an RE. He effectively addressed multiple field issues while working with our general contractor to get that job done on time and on budget. County feels fortunate to have selected V3 on this job and want to congratulate them on their Consultant of the Year award, which we have here. And
I want you, if you don't mind stepping up, and Steve can meet you right there by the step.
Mr. Chairman, Shepro?
They're doing a Photoshop.
Oh, okay. I wanted
Just
to make
stand
a
by one.
comment. Yeah.
Read your message. What? Read your message.
1, 2, 3.
Roundabouts.
thanks to all at V3. Appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman, Shepro?
Okay. God, that guy's annoying.
Mr. Shepro, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to note that that project was in my district and it was really outstanding the way it was executed, implemented, and now is working. It was a project that was needed for years, finally worked its way to the top. And I just want to express my neighbor's appreciation for the work of our consultant of the year and our transportation staff in getting that accomplished.
That whole project was to try and get Mr. Shepro and Mr. Kenyon to the meetings on time.
Well, you can't have everything.
Okay, thank you for your comments and thank you to
Thank you.
V3. Steve?
Yes, and the IMP report, we can go to the photos, I guess. That'll be the next item. We also have our General
For the meeting.
Contractor of the Year Award, which Carl presented at the annual Illinois Road Builders meeting just last week to H&H Electric Company. So
Okay, H&H Electric was our contractor of the year. So congratulations to them. Okay, we'll go back to Steve for the photos.
photos, we have the first one, Illinois 25 at Long Meadow Parkway. The traffic signals and mast arms are up. This is showing those being erected. That signal turn on is scheduled for tomorrow. If we're successful turning on the signals, which we anticipate we will, we'll be able to then open up Long Meadow Parkway between Illinois 25 and Illinois 62. So we'll send out a press release on that as soon as we're able to open that up. We anticipate tomorrow. Next item, C4, showing the foundations of some of the signs and gantries for the toll bridge, toll collection site. Our bridge rehab project continues. Of course, it's wrapping up, not doing too much concrete right now. Lost our video.
Oops, somebody hit.
Okay.
We had a photo, next photo was the intersection we just talked about, Kirk at Dunham, showing that completion. And one of our highway safety improvement programs, federal funded safety job, Orchard, showing some of the new crosswalk and the driver feedback sign installation going in. And new traffic signals were installed at Main and Nelson Lake. That's all the photos I have.
Yeah, I think as Mr. Shepro said about the Dunham intersection and the roundabout at what is that, Balcom and Old Burlington, these projects and Nelson Lake and Main Street, these projects have all gone so fast and smooth. It's like seems like we approve them and they're done. So congratulations to staff and all our contractors on getting those done seemingly effortlessly, at least from our point of view. Questions or comments for Steve on any of the projects?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Dr. Iqbal?
We had a new intersection on Dunham and Kirk.
Right.
Not everyone was happy. One person wrote on the Facebook that you have destroyed my neighborhood.
Oh.
It was a very quiet neighborhood and now it's not that quiet.
They can move to Campton. Life is better there.
So it was odd, but I thought
Yeah.
I should let you know.
Well,
It's full.
you can't make everybody happy, but the job is to make most people happy. So, okay, so then we'll move on to item 9B, resolution approving engineering services. And we're going to have Colleen present this.
Yes, good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Make sure you use your mic closely.
Oh,
That's
am I close enough now?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, KDOT has been awarded funding through the IDOT Highway Safety Improvement Program for a project on Plank Road from Romkey to Briar Hill. And we're here asking you today to approve a resolution for a contract with Kimley Horn engineers to do the phase 1 and phase 2. So your preliminary and your design engineering, as well as your land acquisition work.
Okay. I will ask for a motion and a second to approve this resolution. Mr. Caius moves, Ms. Walnicki seconds. Discussion or questions for Colleen? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Wojnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Braz,
Raz, yes.
passes.
Resolution passes. And then we've got a string of resolutions here, items C through H. And we'll turn back to Steve. The first resolution is approving an engineering services agreement with HR Green. This is for the 2022 structure safety inspections.
Every 3 years, we go through QBS to select a new firm to do our structure safety inspections. Within that 3-year, what could be a maximum 3-year contract, we negotiate annually for the number of specific structures that need work. We selected HR Green for these services for 2022 through 24 and negotiated a contract with them for $436,000 and change.
Okay. Need a motion and a second for this one. Moved by
Kenyon
Mr.
move.
Kenyon, second by Dr. Iqbal. Comments or questions? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Wojnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Braz,
Raz, yes.
passes.
Resolution passes. Item D, approving an agreement for demolition services at Main Street Road and Fabian Parkway. Motion and a second.
Martin, moves.
Wojnicki.
Martin moves,
Wojnicki
Walnicki
seconds.
seconds. Steve?
In advance of our future intersection realignment and roundabout project at Bliss Fabian, Maine, we solicited for 3 bids for demolition of 2 barns and 3 silos near the intersection. We plan to salvage some of the barn wood, as Madam Chair had requested. Martam was the lowest responsible bidder at $27,000. We suggest adding a 25% contingency for a total appropriation request of $33,750,000 for the contract with Martam for these services.
Okay. And the salvaging of the wood, I know we don't normally dictate that, but they would be open to that?
Yeah, we're gonna grab some wood and, so
Okay.
we'll have. Say that again.
We've also requested they deliver it back to the KDOT facility.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
and the cupola at the top of one of the barns was
Okay.
requested to be
you.
salvaged as well.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. Other questions or comments?
So it's going to be the KDOT facility and lumberyard.
And the
Cupola and
contractor has the right to take away anything they can, and it is the barn is dilapidated and needs demolition, but some of the wood,
How long is that
wood features,
then? They're just have nothing.
yeah,
I was in college.
yeah, that was,
Uh-oh.
and right now the barn's only about 20 feet off the edge of the pavement, so it's been there a long time.
So it's fun. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Wojnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Braz,
Raz, yes.
passes.
Passes. Item E, a resolution approving a payment for ComEd to relocate some utilities for the Walker Road over Burlington Creek project. Need a motion and a second. Moved by Dr. Iqbal, second by Mr. Caius. Steve?
In 2015, KDOT replaced the bridge on Walker Road over Burlington Creek. In advance of that project, ComEd had some facilities in their own easement that had to be relocated at the expense of the county in advance of that project. At the time, ComEd estimated that cost of the relo of $98,230. So we took a resolution through the board in late 2014 and for an appropriation of that amount. We sent ComEd half of those funds so that they would initiate the relocation. They completed that obviously a long time ago, but more recently sent us a final bill for the remainder of the cost. We're on the hook for this, but it's, 6 years later, but we're still on the hook for it. So we have half of that appropriation still left available, but we need an additional amount of $43,000 and change to pay the final bill of $92,000 and change.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Questions or comments? If not, roll call.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Wojnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Bras.
Raz, yes.
Yes.
Okay, item F, a resolution approving agreement with Duncan Solutions. This is for debt collection services. Need a motion and a second.
I'll move.
By
Wojnicki
Wojnicki,
moves.
second by Dr. Iqbal. Steve?
Following the procedure established in the Long Meadow Parkway Toll Bridge Ordinance passed by the board last year, if a Long Meadow Parkway Toll Bridge user doesn't pay their tolls, resulting in a balance equal to or greater than $7 and the associated fees, that final invoice will then be sent. Well, I'm sorry, let me back up. If there's total unpaid tolls, we'll send a series of 3 consecutive toll invoices to the registered owner of the vehicle that traveled through the toll bridge. If they don't make a payment and we have an unpaid balance, then we can then send that final invoice to a debt collection agency. This is following what's in the ordinance. So working with our purchasing department, our tolling consultant, we went through a competitive RFP process to provide debt collection services. Also, to hire and utilize administrative hearing officers for toll users who want to present evidence of why they shouldn't be responsible for the tolls. And also this firm will administer toll payment plans should a person want to do an installment process to pay back their unpaid tolls. The selection committee found that Duncan Solutions was the highest ranked firm. They have several contracts with the Illinois Tollway, so they're familiar with this process. So we've the contract is for an initial 6-year term. We also got approval from the Director of Purchasing and Finance to do a 10-year term, which is sort of in line with our toll collection services and our back office services. The total estimated cost for over the 10-year life is $200,000, and staff recommends approval of this contract.
Okay. Questions or comments? Mr. Caius?
Well, in the spirit of the season, Kane County Scrooge is going to take Tiny Tim to the cleaners and collect if he doesn't pay on the toll that he may not like.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna, okay, thank you, sir. So I'm going to oppose this. Thank you.
No.
What a surprise.
Duly noted. Mr. Kenyon?
This cost, is that a flat thing, no matter how many they collect? Or they have to pay a portion of what's collected?
So Duncan Solutions, any fees that they are able to collect, they will then take 16% of that and give us the remainder. So they get paid basically based upon what debt they are able to recover. The cost here of this appropriation is for the administrative hearing officers and for administration of the payment plans solely for those services.
That Shepro question?
Mr. Shepro, go ahead.
Do we have any estimates as to what we think the toll delinquency would be?
Yes, it's I have that information. I don't know if I can quickly grab it at my fingertips, but our consultant did provide that info to me.
Because this would be $20,000 a year for administrative overhead. And I forgot if I ever knew how much the tolls, how much would a one-way toll be?
So a toll is 95 cents, but if you do not pay, it becomes a video toll. So you add $1.50. So one unpaid toll, one direction is $2.45. So if someone were to drive through the toll collection facility 3 times, you would then exceed the $7 threshold. And that then could, and if they do not pay after 3 invoices sent to them, we would then send that to a debt collection agency.
So until you hit the 3 threshold, we don't have a collection procedure.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm just thinking, so it's $7.45 and that we'd be paying $20,000 a year for overhead. And I'm trying to do that, but that's like still is like 3,000.
Mr. Shepro, that debt collection, the cost for Duncan Solutions to pursue debt collection is recovered in the 16% that they would then pull off the top before they send the remaining revenue to us. The administration of the payment plan and administration of hearings, that and the cost of a hearing officer, that's what's included in the $200,000. So not administration of and pursuit of debt collection.
Okay, but even so, with the administration and hearing officers, that's an awful lot of hearings, it seems to me, and I just wondered what anybody's track record or estimate suggested that might be.
I just found it. We anticipate 100 to 200 hearings per year.
Wow.
So, and assumed a 2% annual growth. So we did add a little contingency in there also. So the hearings are relatively short, or anticipated to be relatively short, and potentially could be done sort of back to back to back with some.
If these are like Chicago administrative hearings, I would suspect you can do about 30 of them an hour.
Yeah, the tollway, we didn't go as aggressive as this tollway does, which do 80 per day or 10 per hour. We did not estimate that. We estimated 5 hearings per hour.
Is the 200,000 subject to adjustment based on actual experience?
We'll only pay for the services that are rendered, and so this will be a tally that will draw down the 200,000 based upon what actually occurs. And it is.
So if
based upon
Mr. Caius
experience from-
writes a letter to his constituents telling them to please pay the tolls and we don't have any hearings, then we wouldn't have the hearing. We wouldn't need all those hearings.
The
I'm
person
being
who has not paid
facetious.
their toll are the folks, they would have to request a hearing. We do not have a hearing for every person who does not pay a toll.
No,
It's
I
only-
understand that. All right, thank you. I appreciate the additional information.
And then, obviously this is our first time doing this, so we will have, very quickly, we'll have data once
Yeah.
things start rolling, and we can have data as well as probably more accurate forecasts on growth. Other comments or questions?
Yeah, Mr.
Dr.
Chairman.
Iqbal?
Yes. Generally, the out of state people would not have the transponder. Do we have, or are we planning to have something on the internet for them to come and pay the toll without going through that?
So if
We
if they
will
don't
have a
pay,
website that allows for payment through our website. Yes.
I see. Okay.
so there would be signage saying if somebody from Alaska's driving down the road and they pull on there and go through, they don't have a I-pass, they'll see a sign that says, call this number, I assume.
Yeah, the majority of our folk, well, we would have to have the address of someone from Alaska. So we,
Okay.
we'll have to pursue that before we can send an invoice to them.
So you'd have a picture of their license plate?
We will have a
Yeah.
picture of their license plate. Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Martin?
Well, my understanding is that this problem is going to diminish over the years because increasingly all of these different pass companies interrelate. So
Yeah, so
over time, it's going to be less and less.
you see the next item on the agenda.
Right,
is
that's
with
what
the
I was
Easy
referring
Pass.
to.
Yeah, so we're members of the Easy Pass group, and that covers 14 states on the Northeast. And as time goes on, all of these different transponders are going to be interoperable. So it should be a diminishing issue moving forward. And there's something like 85 to 90% of our people already have transponders in their vehicles. So we're talking about a small component of what's happening.
The rental car is another issue. You get rental car and it doesn't have a transponder, or I choose not to get a transponder because they charge you $20. So that issue would always remain, I think.
Right. Okay, other comments? If none, roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Well, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Are there no debtors' prisons? Are there no work homes? No.
Woodnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Frost.
Raz, yes.
Passes.
Motion passes. Item G is, as Carl said, is a resolution related to Easy Pass. I think I'll have Steve explain this before I ask for a motion in a second.
Well, speaking of national interoperability, this is sort of the first step for the Easy Pass folks, is this next item. When a person drives through a toll booth right now, now we're talking, say, the eastern central United States, drive through a toll booth, the home agency that issued the transponder receives the toll payment. So in our case, that's primarily, as Paul mentioned, 90% IPAS penetration. That the agency receiving that is the tollway receiving those funds. So they're the home agency, they receive the funds. So, but every month, Easy Pass members then reconcile or exchange funds amongst themselves directly. But so all of the agencies are doing this reconciliation with all the other agencies. Very time-consuming process. And there's you got to work out any errors that come up. For our case, again, it's going to primarily be the tollway. On behalf of the Easy Pass group, another Easy Pass agency called the Triborough Bridge and Tunnel Authority went through a competitive process to select a vendor to develop a hub system for toll reconciliation. So under a hub system, each member agency would reconcile their tolls directly with the hub, just one reconciliation. And so each agency does that. The hub then disperses the revenue according to where the person went through the toll. Once operational, years from now, it'll be years, the hub system will greatly reduce the technical and operational complexity of the toll reconciliation process. Due to these efficiencies, once the hub system is operational, KDOT has the potential of reduction of our O&M cost for our toll back office.
Yeah, I got phone problems. I got computer problems.
They'll mute your mic, please. Go ahead, Steve.
At that time, we'll look to try to renegotiate with our back office services based upon those efficiencies. The cost of the hub development and operations estimated right now to be $25,000 per year. So it's under the Carl spending authority. So we're not looking for an appropriation, but we do recommend execution of this third-party beneficiary agreement with the agency that went through the selection process.
Okay.
Martin moves.
Mr. Martin moves, Mr. Kenyon seconds. Thank you. So yeah, very technical stuff. And Steve, I hope you'll be available at the county board meeting. To explain this. Questions for Steve? Mr. Caius?
Just a comment that hopefully will stop the toll before this actually goes through or sooner or something. Couldn't figure
Okay.
that one out.
Okay.
It's
well-
sunsetted. That's the word.
Well, this would be sunsetted.
Yeah.
Other comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Berman,
You made him mute.
Yeah.
Berman. Iqbal,
Well, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
No.
Winnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Braz,
Raz, yes.
Mr. Berman, are you there? Okay, thank you.
Resolution passes. Item H, approving a right entry from White Gate Skeet Club. This is off Stearns Road Bridge Corridor. This is for a erosion repair project. Could I have a motion and a second? Mr. Kenyon moves.
Martin, second.
Mr. Martin seconds. Steve?
Prior to Stearns Road being open, KDOT built several mitigation sites. One of those is adjacent to Illinois 25/Stearns Road. The intent is to transfer these sites eventually to the Forest Preserve for ultimate management. One of these sites, though, is adjacent to the Brewster Creek. And primarily due to the presence of a beaver dam, and excessive flooding events, scour occurred on the westerly bank of Brewster Creek. The scour continued to gouge out a portion of the soil located between Brewster Creek and our mitigation site, and then tied into our mitigation pond there that you see right along 25 and Stearns Road. KDOT has designed a solution to restore the stream bank and the scoured earth area, but a portion of the repair extends into land owned by the White Gate Skeet Club. Mr. Yeager coordinated with White Gate Skeet Club, and they have approved a right of entry access agreement, and they're seeking an indemnification clause from the county. Staff recommends approval of that agreement so we can go on and do a complete repair, even though it extends a little beyond our right of way.
Okay. Questions or comments?
Comment, Shepro?
Mr. Shepro, go ahead.
Yeah, this is in my district, and the beaver dams in Brewster Creek have been a problem for many years. I know for the village of Wayne, they've had volunteers come in and try to clear it away. And I'm enthusiastic about KDOT's efforts to come in and hopefully fix this problem.
Okay. Other comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Excuse me.
Madam Chair, go ahead.
I'm just curious about beavers. I know they're such a beautiful animal, and I know that they can do dams and damage, but isn't that just showcasing the fact that the Fox River is becoming a healthier environment, and the beavers are going to be a naturally occurring opportunity that I love. I'm just.
No,
Everywhere but right here.
When they,
There we go.
I mean, how do we?
Your backyard, no.
How do we
Gonna have to
control?
start wearing beaver hats again.
on my property, we have Mill Creek, and we always tolerate the beavers. It's kind of fun to watch them, but they'll turn your yard into a lake. And somehow they survived here with the hunting club right there. I don't know how that happened, but
Sky.
Skeet, yeah.
So is this,
soon as beavers
is
fly,
that,
they're in trouble.
I mean, are we going to be destroying a natural habitat?
we're doing erosion repair. I don't know if it
This-
affects the beaver dam. I don't know, Mr. Jager or Tom.
This actually protects environment, the Brewster Creek corridor, which ultimately gets to the Fox River, but this is Brewster Creek right here, and it's a high quality area, high quality wetland. And what occurred with this erosion is it totally rerouted Brewster Creek. And so it's and we can't let that occur because it's going through an area that's not as high quality. We really want to make sure that we're protecting the Brewster Creek corridor. So that's the purpose of this, is to make sure that Brewster Creek retains its original corridor. We've temporarily got it blocked again, but it's a temporary fix.
Shepro comment.
Mr. Shepherd, go ahead.
Yeah, well, as Mr. Rickards just pointed out, when you think about it, Madam Chair, the biggest destroyer often of natural habitats are the engineers that build dams. And these little critters are engineers that build dams. And they can often, they have had a long history in this area of disrupting it. Every few years, you've got to go in and keep the creek where it's supposed to be. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Walnicki?
Yeah, just a quick comment and Carl and Tom, you might remember this, LaFox Road and Campton Hills Road, when we had the flooding there, and it was due to the beavers at, it would be like the southwest corner on that private property. So they relocated the beavers to Garfield Farms because they were happy to take them. So, yeah.
After hearing all of you, it's nature which we celebrate and want and value here in Kane County, interfacing with development and built stability, our built environment, and how that comes to play with each other. So I'm sure you're handling it with the greatest sensitivity, but I still just happen to really enjoy beavers. I think they're remarkable animals. They're quite industrious.
Duly noted. Mr. Caius?
Is this visible from 25? I was trying to see it from, as I drove by, it's
No,
on the
you-
back
you-
side over there,
You
right?
really have to hike in there.
Like southwest.
The
of-
rerouting when everything flooded, including Illinois 25, that was visible, but you really have to go in there and see the damage that occurred.
Flooded several times.
Tolerate the beavers as long as possible until they start affecting our infrastructure. I have a motion and a second. If there's no other comments, roll call.
Berman, Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Winnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Ross,
Raz, yes.
passes.
Motion passes. Item 10.
Yes.
Mr. Berman,
Berman, yes.
thank
Berman,
you.
yes, thank you. Item 10, that presentation has been, we requested that they put that off till January. That was St. Charles's fourth try at talking us into doing something at Route 64 in Randall. So I and staff suggested that they would, with our full schedule today, they would probably have a little more time and more receptive ears in January. So they put that off. Item 11, could I have a motion and a second to put our reports on file from today?
Caius
Mr.
move.
Caius, Ms. Walnicki seconds. Roll call.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Guys, yes.
Winnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Ross,
Raz, yes.
passes.
Item 12, we do have need for executive session to discuss highway right-of-way acquisition. So could I have a motion and a second to go into executive session for right-of-way discussion?
Guys, move.
Caius moves, Dr. Iqbal seconds. All in, am I doing all? Okay, roll call to go into executive session.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Opie, Winnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Ross,
Raz, yes. We'll move into exec. Okay, we're back in open session. Could I have a motion and a second to approve the acquisition of highway right-of-way for the Doberman Road extension?
roll call, sir.
Roll call.
Okay, let's do a roll call that we're back in session. Then we'll do a roll call.
Berman,
Berman's there.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Guys, present.
Kopi, Winnicki,
Present.
Shepro,
Shepro present.
Martin,
Martin, present.
Pirog, Ross,
Yes, and then I had a motion and a second, I think, Mr.
I would
Kenyon.
move we buy it.
Mr. Kenyon makes the motion, Dr. Iqbal seconds that we pass the resolution acquiring the highway right-of-way for the Doberman Road extension. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Guys, yes.
Winnicki,
Yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Ross.
Raz, yes.
Passes.
Item 15 is release of closed session minutes. Do we have anybody from the state's attorney's office?
going to defer that.
We're going to defer item 15. Oh, they are here. So we will bring up item 15.
We have to go,
Transportation.
we have to be in, do we have to be in closed session for that?
We actually don't handle I'm sorry, I thought this was I'm here for different closed session minutes. We don't handle the closed session minutes for this committee, so I've instructed who to contact regarding that.
Okay, so we will defer item 15. Is there any new business from anybody on the committee or in present? Seeing no new business, I guess under new business, I'll just thank everybody for another year of hard work on the transportation
Motion to
committee.
adjourn.
And we're not ready for that yet. And thank everybody for their work on the committee and thank staff for another great year of hard work and getting some major projects behind us. So thanks again. Is there any public comment for non-agenda items? Anybody in person or online? Seeing none, I will take a motion to adjourn then. Mr. Kenyon makes a move and Dr. Iqbal seconds to adjourn.